What is going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, host of the How To Show, where we talk about optimizing life, money, and happiness one how-to at a time. So if last week's video wasn't enough clickbait for you, where how to get the banks to give you free money, didn't do it for you, I'll throw even more clickbait at you this week. And so this week we're going to talk about how to live in a house without having to pay for it. And again, everything we're talking about is completely legal here, so we'll walk through the steps of something that the bigger pockets folks have termed as house hacking. And what it really means is that you buy yourself a house, and let's say, just for example, you buy yourself a 3-bedroom house. And for the examples that we're going with right now, you're a single person, or maybe you're a couple. You can even have kids while you do this, but basically you have to have a house that has more rooms than you intend to fill it with yourself. And you take those extra bedrooms and you lease them out. And so this can be to friends of yours, it can be to old college roommates, it can be to anyone really, and it's an opportunity for you to use what could be a liability, which is a bigger house than you need, and turn it into something that could make money for you. And so to best describe how this works, let's go ahead and switch over to Zoom so that we can just pick a house in Indianapolis that's on the market right now and generically run through the numbers to see what this might look like if somebody were to consider house hacking. So this is a house that I found. It's in Indianapolis, but you can look at this really no matter where you live. The concept of house hacking really can work in high cost of living areas and low cost of living areas. And what you really need to focus on is whether or not you can provide value to somebody who would look to rent a room in a house. And what I mean by that is that generally speaking, someone is not going to rent a room in a house if it costs as much or more than renting a 1-bedroom apartment. So you need to frame your thought process behind here in such a way that you make sure that you're adding value to them. Basically, you're getting some extra income by renting out rooms in your house, and you're helping someone out in the sense that renting a room in your house is more affordable than renting an apartment and doing it themselves. And so typically speaking, the way that these usually work is that the owner will live in one room of the house and they will rent out the other rooms of the house. And usually all of the utilities will be included, and the house hack folks who are moving into the other bedrooms will pay some sort of a flat fee, and they will, in exchange, get a room in the house. They'll get access to the common areas, and they'll get their utilities covered, and usually that includes internet and maybe sometimes TV. It's all to be determined in what you can do and cannot do in your marketplace. So you have to do a little bit of research to make sure that it's equal for you. And so from this sense, you're going to have other people living in your house, so you'll have to have some sort of document that shows that you guys have group norms or whatever house rules you're going to live by. Just to make sure that the peace is kept, and have an idea of what you can and should not do in the instance of keeping everybody in the house happy. And you should have a lease agreement as well that says that this is a lease, landlord and tenant, in a sense that you are leasing space to these folks in exchange for money. So you want to have that documented, and so have somebody that's a professional look over that sort of thing for you. But when you're looking at one of these houses to determine whether or not it's a good idea to do a house hack like this, I just want to pull an example from Indianapolis. And so this house right now is listed for $230,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. And so let's play the scenario out as if you're a single person and you're looking to move into this house. You're probably going to put some sort of a down payment down, and to really dive into the numbers of what it would cost to have the mortgage payment and all the expenses for this house, I can refer you back to a different video I did on how to calculate that. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just use the back of the napkin numbers that are a little further down in the Zillow features. So let's keep scrolling down. This is a decent sized house with decent interiors already. You probably wouldn't have to do a whole lot of work for this house to be able to move into it. And so $230,000 is the purchase price. Let's assume you can buy it for somewhere around there. It's a house where realistically, if you're living alone, you would live in one bedroom and you could lease out the other three. So let's go ahead and scroll down on the section that shows what the hypotheticals might be for this property. So it's showing, it probably a 30-year mortgage, principal and interest in the neighborhood of $833. You're going to have property taxes. You're going to have homeowners insurance. You'll have HOA fees. You'll have utilities, and you'll probably, depending on how much money you put down, you might have some private mortgage insurance as well. So let's take their 1180 and let's call it 1500 just to make sure we've covered all of our bases. And so if your all-in cost for this house are $1,500 and you have 3 bedrooms to lease, that means that in order for you to virtually live for free, you would just have to take that $1,500 and divide it by 3 bedrooms. And the question becomes, could you lease a room in this house out for $500 a month? And generally speaking, in the Indianapolis market, a 1-bedroom apartment leases for a good about more than $500 a month. I've seen them anywhere in the $700 range up to and over $1,000 for sure, depending on where you want to live. So I don't think it's out of the question to find somebody who would be interested in leasing these rooms at $500 per room, and remind that they get the utilities paid for in this. And so really you're providing a value that isn't able to be found elsewhere in the market, because the housing stock for 1-bedroom apartments simply isn't that cheap. So when you start to think about this, if you live in 1 bedroom and rent out the other 3, you have the opportunity to live in this house and not pay any of the expenses, because the 3 folks who are leasing the extra bedrooms from you are covering those expenses. So this is just an idea that I want to bring in front of somebody. I know that there's somebody that's watching that can use house hacking to their advantage. It's a way that, realistically you can build your upward trajectory of building wealth very quickly. If you're still working and you have the ability to pay for this house by yourself, but you can divert that money that you would be paying normally toward a mortgage to something else because other folks are helping you pay your mortgage. Just think of the opportunities that you would have there to either invest in retirement, to give generously, to save up for maybe something important. I can tell you that in my personal life, I bought a home and I did lease some of the bedrooms, and it allowed me to pay for, an engagement and a wedding with that extra funding. There's a way to really benefit your financial position by doing this sort of house hacking. And I just wanted to bring this to folks' attention. That is going to bring this episode of the show to a close. A special guest to whoever listed that house in Indianapolis so that we could use it as an example for the case study. And if you got value out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button to let the YouTube algorithm know that this is a video that's worth watching and other people should watch it too. If you know anybody that can get benefit from it, please share it with them. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about new videos that come out on the channel. Until next time, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of The How To Show, signing off.